So a few months ago, I was at a function, and I was up at the bar grabbing my glass of water, which is all that I ever drink at the bar. And I met this next young man through another friend. And after about 15 minutes of talking, he and I were in tears, talking about our pasts, our families, things that have affected us. And that seems to happen. I seem to end up in tears every time I talk to this man. And he's so special that I wanted to bring him on to the show. Gerald DuBose, who is a co-founder of the New Wealth Order, a consulting and training firm that increases revenue by aligning culture, marketing, and sales. He's the author of several books, one called The Formula for Success, 4 Steps to Succeed at Anything in Life. He's a father. He's an entrepreneur, consulting on multi-million-dollar businesses. He's a trainer. He's a poet. If we get time to have some of this poetry, it's going to be amazing. But most of all, he is the kind of person who lights up a room and lights up whoever he's talking to. So I wanted Gerald to be on the show so he and I can talk about what we talk about, and you can benefit from his gold. Gerald, thanks for being on the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Mark. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, it's just incredible. So, in introducing you, I was talking about the first time we met. We both talked about a bit about our origin stories and wound up in tears talking about our pasts, which you and I don't drag along with us. But one of the things that you do with people is you help them to own their stories.
Yes.
Why is it important to own our stories when we're running and gunning and trying to be successful in life and trying to forget most of it?
Okay, well, that is a great question. One of the main reasons that it's important to own your story is that really that's what's dictating life for us. That's how we come up with our values. That's how we come up with what we feel is good, bad, or indifferent for the life that we create. You'll hear people say a lot of times that, well, I can't do that because of where I grew up. And that's all a story that they've made up. Yes, where you grew up is where you grew up. Absolutely. But the experiences that you've had have been shaped through the lens of your own perception and your own perspective. So many people can grow up in the same environment and share 30,000 different stories, and it's coming from the exact same place at the exact same time. So it's really how we define our experiences that carry us forward in life. And until we own it, until we understand what is shaping that narrative for me, what is shaping what success looks like, what is shaping what being wealthy looks like, what is shaping what being happy looks like, that we actually take control of our lives for ourselves, and that life take control of us.
You put a very human spin on kind of a coachy subject. Our thoughts, our beliefs, all those systems are formulated in our childhood, in our younger years. We make decisions and we see through that lens only. But you made it very, very personal. For mastering midlife, the thing I always talk about is that the drives and motivations that get us through our 20s and 30s often turn on us in our 40s and 50s. But what I don't add to that is those drives and motivations that either make us successful, millionaires, drug addicts, right? Successful in relationships, all are formed from those early years. And if we don't go back and decipher the midlife, and I think midlife is a really good time because the cracks start to happen and you start to get willing to go, why am I doing this? What's driving me? What's going on? And do I still want to be doing it? So how do you help people go back and actually look at their stories to find the truth?
Well, the first thing that I would do with someone is ask them, are the 3 most important things to them. The way I do that usually is with a certain parameter of not necessarily testing, but actually probing, getting them talking and listening to the words that they're using. Because what people fail to realize, again, is our entire life are shaped by the 2 master P's, perspective and perception, right? That's really all it is, because an experience is just an experience depending on how you look at it and how you define it. So when we start to go back and somebody say, oh, this was a really horrible thing that happened to me. And I say, oh, well, that's interesting. what made it horrible. And they'll start to say, well, it was the worst day and blah, 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 blah. And then they keep going. And usually they come to find out that that was actually a defining moment for them, that that was actually an opportunity to be at a crossroads and make a turning point. And so usually the worst day of your life ends up being the best day of your life, because it makes you go a different way. It makes you start to look at life and appreciate life differently. So it's important that we understand where we come from, and not to live there, but understand how it shaped us, and then begin to define a new story. Because you said something very important when you were introducing this, that in our 20s and 30s, we're kind of going through life, and it's like, yes, this is what success is, this is what happiness is. But in each decade, I believe the scope changes for us, right? So like your 20s are all about exploration. You're free, you've been told what to do all your life, and now it's like, oh wow, I get to do whatever I want. And we all think we know everything by the time we're 25 years old, and then by the time we're 28, we realize we know nothing. So
but we keep
and
running like we do. No,
exactly.
don't anybody ever let anybody know that we don't know what we're doing.
Exactly. And then by the time we get to our 30s, we're kind of trying to figure it out and realizing those things, the priorities start to change now, right? Because it's not about exploration anymore. By the 30s, you maybe have kids, or at least are starting to plan on having kids. You're starting to think about a family and marriage and all those type of things. So the exploration part isn't as important anymore. So it's kind of about starting to shape a life that we feel that we want to lead, or lead. I'm sorry, not leave, but lead. And then by the time we get to our 40s, it's like, okay, I've been doing all these things. I've been chasing success. I've been chasing wealth. I've been chasing status. We start to look at our life and say, but what does all of this mean? And in our 40s is when we start to pursue really what the meaning of life is for us, like what that thing is that shapes us. And that's why it's so important that when we get to that stage, we start to look at what has shaped us up to this point, and how we can begin to create a new narrative that is aligned with who we feel we really are, the things that really, really matter to us, the things we want to leave with this world. And that's where it comes into the midlife part. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just
So
redefining
I
your
want to go
story.
back to what you were talking about originally, though. So let's talk about owning our stories. What in your history was a story that drove you, and then when you went and examined it, you changed your perspective about it?
Oh wow, there are several. In my book, I actually have a chapter called "Remove, Replace, or Replant." Because there are stories that have shaped us up to that point, right? And one story, I know my father used to always tell me, that youth is wasted on the young. And I thought that was some Star Wars Jedi mind trick type stuff if I ever heard it in my life, right? What does that mean? Like, youth is wasted on the young. And I kind of ignored it, and there were several things that he passed on to me, but that youth is wasted on the young. I said, wow, okay, so what does that really mean for me? At 20 it meant nothing. At 30 it meant a little more. At 38 it meant a lot. I said, I see now. Because when we are young, and this is why it's so important for even some of the people that are younger that may listen to this program, you have the freedom now to create a life that 40 years ago wasn't possible. The landscape and how you can build a life and actually just create a life now is way different than it was if you were starting in 1980, 1985, 1989. So just the story that youth is wasted on the young, and having to re-examine that and what it truly meant, and how it really helped me come to understand that, hey, stories really do dictate your life. um, it it has left a lasting impression that youth is wasted on the young. My gosh, how many times have you said, Mark, man, if I could go back to 25 with everything I know now, my life would be completely different, right?
Yeah. No, but I was just thinking, youth is wasted on the young, wealth and opportunity is wasted on the old. because we've lost our sense of adventure, we've lost our sense of risk, right? Now we want to hold on to things. We're not, we're not as willing to go get step out of our comfort zone. So health and opportunity is totally wasted on the middle aged.
Oh wow, I like that.
I'm
That's
so trapped by my golden handcuffs and my 401k and my big house that I bought. I can't sell it and go actually enjoy life.
see, but actually, most people that really grab life by the horns are doing it at around this age. You know, when they start to figure out that, hey, what's important to me is that the world be a better place because I was here. And how do I start to do the things that line up with that? How does my work affect that? And a lot of times this is when we start to step into that, is now, because we have achieved and we're bored with what we've been doing. It's like, okay, is this really what my life is all about? Going to this job, punching this clock, doing these same things over and over and over again? Or do I want to do things that really give meaning? You know, and I say people should chase meaning instead of money. Just my personal opinion, because with meaning, you usually get the money that you need to support your lifestyle. You
But
know,
yeah, but Gerald, I need health insurance. But Gerald, I'm saving for college. But Gerald,
yes, yeah, okay, yes, you are you're saving for college and you're doing all of that. But how fulfilled are you with doing all of those things?
doesn't matter how fulfilled I am as long as I check all the boxes and do what I'm supposed to do.
Well, not if you're miserable and feeling like you want to check out of here because
Right.
you are checking the boxes.
And then that's the trap. Right. That's the
Exactly.
trap. So many people, it's funny because I talk to so many entrepreneurs who've started businesses, and when they start the business, often they go into debt.
Yeah.
Often they're working long hours. It's precarious. It looks like it's working. It doesn't look like it's working. It looks like it's working. It doesn't look like it's working. And then they're like, what did I do? I had a good job with benefits and health insurance, and I was taking care of my family, and I was selfish to go out on my own. Right? How do you talk
You're right.
people off the ledge for that? Like, I was selfish to actually think I could actually try and do something new on my own, and I have this family to take care of.
Well, talking people off the ledge for that is, first, let me say, everybody is not meant to run their own business.
Yeah, me included. I have no business running my own
Uh,
business.
I don't know about that, Mark. I would challenge you about that because I know a lot about you and what I know of you. There's a lot of things you can do in this world and lead a lot of people. It's just you know where you want to take them right now, and you are doing it. So obviously, you should be doing a business. It's you may need a partner that does.
We're going back to the hypothetical person that you were just talking to, who you're talking off the ledge.
Right.
Leave Mark alone.
Okay. But anyway, so no, I was just saying, but those people that we talk off the ledge, it's just, does this really matter that much to you? Do you have a true vision for this work? Or is this just something you wanted to do because it's what you've been doing your whole life? And you're like, I'm not going to make money for anybody else anymore. I'm going to build my own dream. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes because that's your gift that you follow that, you're able to garner people around it that will help you build that vision. But other times it's that we just believe that we're meant to do it because we've been doing it and I should do it for myself. It's a completely different animal to be on the other end of the table signing the checks than just waiting on a check. And I talk to people a lot about that reality too. And we have to do an evaluation of, is this really mapped out for what you should be doing with your life? Because vision is important, but you can attach yourself to someone else's vision and still be able to bring that good into the world and still do work that is meaningful for you.
It's true. The other people who have these visions need people to help them bring it to fruition. So if you don't have, like, again, I've always been a really good number two until I, kind of broke out on my own. I've always been good at helping other people get their visions up. Actually, it's probably why I'm a coach. I'm really good at helping people get their visions out into the world. My vision is having multitudes of people who have their vision out in the world. Uh, so for you've had so many iterations in your career and made, tons of impact in business and in people's personal lives and in art. But right now, what you're focused on is consulting with companies, and you're helping them to align their culture and their marketing and their people. How does that tie into? Because that's your mission. It's
Right.
bigger than just getting, even though you help people get your revenue, it's bigger than that.
Yes. Again, it's about companies. I believe that the values should be what drive companies. The reason why you started this business should always be prevalent, and that should be aligned throughout your culture, your marketing, and then through your sales. But a lot of times people don't line it up that way. It's our vision, and first of all, their vision isn't very clear, and that becomes a challenge, which is why culture falls to pieces, because when people don't understand what we're chasing, what we're going after, then it's easy for them to fall off course. And then people will show up for a paycheck. And if people show up for a paycheck, it's easy for them to be swayed to want to go with somebody else. Versus if they really align with what you're trying to achieve, with why you even exist, how you help people, and they will be your biggest advocate. So that's how we help them tie those stories together. Take those values, and that should be in your marketing message. It should be all around the office. It should be part of your daily routine that people should be able to quote without you even standing there. So that's how we do it through
How
companies.
do you how do you find your vision?
Well, that's very important there. That's a good question too. I would say one way to find your vision is to understand your whole purpose for creating the business, right? Like what did you see wrong with the world that you wanted to help fix? And why was that important to you? If you can start to paint that picture, then people can say, you know what? I think that's broken the world too. I would love to help fix that. And they will show up differently than if it's just, hey, we want to be the best company. We're going to have the highest sales numbers, and we're going to be number one. That's nothing to align to. That's all vanity metrics. So if you get to the heart of why you're doing it, what you saw broken in the world, and how that makes the world a better place, people will line up and they will fight with you.
It's amazing how enrolling a clear vision is. People really are attracted like to a light, to a vision, to something clear as a bell. Your people will show up. It's uncanny. Whether it's collecting money for a charity, right, or it's building a business around something. And too many companies have mission statements that they just wrote, and then it's
Yes.
not a living, breathing vision.
Absolutely. It is not a vision. It is more of a sales rallying cry. And that's a lot of what people write down as visions. We want to be the number one manufacturer of widgets in the world. Okay. Why do you want to be the number one manufacturer of widgets in the world? And the number one according to who?
True.
so, so it's important that it become more than a rallying cry, that it is the very heartbeat of your organization. And until you find that, there will always be challenges in scaling the business the way that you would like.
Mm. So you're on a mission to change the consciousness of the world. What do you
Absolutely.
what do you want to change it to?
I want people to be free thinkers. I want people to understand that life doesn't happen to them, it happens through them and for them. Every experience that you have had has been to either teach you a lesson or has been to benefit you, understanding more of who you really are or were meant to be. I am a firm believer in that destiny is designed, that it is not a happenstance, that we do not walk around and you had this accident today because you were meant to have this accident today. Well, kind of, sort of. There were things that led up to that, decisions that led up to that, but the accident needed to happen because you need to be doing something different right now. So I want people to understand that they get to create life. We are creators. by nature, we are creators. That's why when it said in the Bible, we are made in his image, he's a creator. God is a creator. He created us. He created the world. He created everything. So as a creator, you have to take control. You have to make a decision that, you know what, no more am I going to let things just be by happenstance. No longer am I going to blame other people for the things that are coming into my life. There were decisions that I've made that have led me to this point, and if I want something different, I have to decide something different. And that's what I really want people to do, because I feel that when people get into that space and when they are able to create the life that they were designed to create, the life that they should be creating, they put their piece to the puzzle in this world, because we're all pieces to a puzzle. And the reason I feel the world is in chaos right now is because there are so many missing pieces. So many people not creating what they could. So many people not living what they should, what they feel in their heart, what they know in their spirit. Or maybe they don't know in their spirit because they're too afraid to go there, because they've been told all their life, you should get the good job, go to school, get the good job, build the family. Like you said, get your 401k straight, get your savings in order, buy some real estate, and that's your life. But what if that's not the life you want? What if that's not the life you were meant to lead? And we have to start to examine how we got to where we are so that we can go to where we want.
You said something very profound in there. Lots of things, but that we're all a puzzle piece to this whole. The reason the world is the way it is because we're not all living uh, what we came here to live. We're being distracted by what society tells us what to do. And that heart's desire, not the desire, for a new iWatch, Apple Watch, not the desire for, those are all cool. They're fine desires. But that heart's desire, that, they call it the dharma, a fish swims in water. That's its dharma. What is your dharma? People slough it off as that's the luxury for other people. But wherever I believe, and I know you believe, wherever we are a puzzle piece, and we need to figure out what our piece is so we can go do it. And that heals our part of the world, which is, I know, what you and I
Absolutely.
care about.
Absolutely, man. Listen, there is something on the inside of everyone that's listening to this podcast. There is something that they were given that they do better than 9,999 other people in the world, even if those people went to school for it and have been doing it for 30 years. They can wake up and do that thing better than those people that have been training at it. Why? Because it was the gift that they were given. But they are ignoring the gift to go market their skills. We are a skills-based society, and that's what people think is really what they should be doing. Hey, I went to school for this. This is how I've made my money. But what if that thing that you're doing is the reason that you're frustrated? It's the reason that you're depressed. It's the
Right.
reason that you're angry, right? So you have to examine, okay, why do I feel so unfulfilled if I'm doing everything that I should be doing to be happy? It's because you aren't being true to who you are that leads you to not being fulfilled. And that's what I want people to do. I want people to live a life that they feel fulfilled, that they feel like, you know what? Even if I don't make the $1 million, I am living a life that allows me to be able to do whatever it is I want and help the people and be with the people that I want. I think that's the life that people should be designing.
Mm. And when we talk about helping and being of service and all that stuff, it's not that we need to be martyrs to go help people and make ourselves unhappy. It's where the joy is. It's where the connection is. It's where life is happening. We're not trying to tell anybody, that you have to go work and I'm looking for the word, just disappear yourself for that kind of thing. It's where life lives, is in service to others, in that relationship. Anybody who volunteers at a soup kitchen and talks to the people in the soup kitchen walks out with more joy than they walked in.
Absolutely. And I mean, and just to go on that, in the whole designing destiny thing, there are 4 sides to it. And the first side that I try to debunk, because society uses words as what I call words of confusion. Purpose is a word that is thrown around so much by so many different groups and things. I think it's to confuse people more than to help people, because I personally believe that life, we all are born for the same purpose, just how we live it is going to be different. And what that purpose is we're all born to create and to serve. That's why you feel so good when you do something for somebody else, because you're designed to do that thing. Even when you do your regular 9 to 5, and maybe you haven't found that thing that you want to serve people with, or create that thing that you know you should be creating, when you go to work to do anything, you are serving someone to regardless. So whether you're a cook, whether you're a mechanic, you are of service to people. This is what we're designed to do, to create and to serve. But the problem is most people don't ever get to the create part because they're worried about the skills. Why do I have to create it? I'll just go do this thing because I went to school for this thing. And I want more people to understand that their gift comes before the skill, not the other way around.
Their gift comes before the skill, not the other way around. So the skill is already, the gift is already there.
Yes, the gift is there. You just have to understand it, uncover it, and people will help you understand what your gift is. It's an amazing thing. Usually, people will be like, "Man, you're so good at that," and we will blow it off, right? We'll
Right.
say, "Oh, well, it's just this little thing I do. That's nothing." Blah 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 blah.
Gay
But
Hendricks talks about the zone of genius, right? And the zone of genius is often the thing that we discount the most, the thing that we can do that doesn't take any work, doesn't have, oh, you're just like effortless at that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the
exactly,
thing.
that's it, and that's what I tell everybody. That's when your antennas need to go up. Why? Because while you're searching, what should I be doing? What should I be doing? I don't know what I'm really gifted at. Well, people are telling you. Hello, purpose is to create and to serve. If people are being served by that thing, they're like, hey, this is great. This helps me. I feel better. This makes me happy because you do this thing, but we ignore it. Then it's not that we haven't found our gift, is that we haven't understood that it is our gift
What's your
that
gift?
blocks a lot of people.
What's your gift?
One of my gifts is communication. I am able to take very complex things and make them simple for people,
You
simple
are.
enough that they can digest it.
You do, and you can reduce people to tears within moments. That is
Oh
that
man.
is a that is a gift. It's funny because when I figured out what my gift was, uh, it was the thing that people were telling me all my life. My gift is connecting,
Yes.
and uh, and I always, like it always was like, oh, he's got a nice personality. Like, who's going to pay for that? Oh, I found out in sales, it makes me millions of dollars, right?
Yes.
It makes me an incredible coach, right? Like, but I had no, I always discounted, oh, like I have no skills, right? I'm just a nice guy. No, I actually know how to connect with people, right? So people will trust me, and I can enroll people into whatever effort it is I'm trying to accomplish, or I can enroll them into their own gifts.
Absolutely, man. And see, and that's what happens when you understand the gift, right? You're able to say, you know what? I can use this thing and take all these skills that I've learned. Like you said, you were a salesman even before doing that, but when you understood your gift was connecting, you were able to use the skill of sales differently, because now you're going to use the gift that you already have. The skills underpin the gift, not overtake the gift.
Yeah. All right, I'm
So,
gonna go. I want to go. Yeah, we're coming to overtime, but there's one more thing I want to talk to you about that it's just kind of gold that I want to leave people with. And you and I were talking about being introverts. We're
yes,
both introverts,
absolutely.
and we're both, pretty sociable when we're in a room with people. We definitely connect. And you said something to me about managing energy, of why you're out in the world when you'd much rather like be by yourself for a little while. You go out in the world for a reason, and you use your energy in a certain way. Do you remember this conversation?
I remember it. I do.
So,
I remember it
and
some.
for me, it was very profound. It really shifted the way I look at me being in the world. And I was wondering if you'd be willing to elaborate, being an introvert, but going out in service and letting that energy flow through you.
Well, it's because I look at it from the lens of my perspective on it is that I'm not out here for me. This is bigger than me. And my normal nature would be much rather just sit back and not go forward. But when you understand who you are and what your purpose, your gift is, and how and the people that you want to help, it's so much bigger than doing what's more comfortable for you. Life is not about being comfortable. Life is about, again, being able to connect, being able to create, being able to serve people. So it's my duty, it's my obligation that I had, since I have breath in my body, to go do the work that has been placed upon me. And that is why when I go into a room, it doesn't matter that I'd rather sit back. I will go and engage. It doesn't matter that I would rather be sitting over in the corner by myself thinking about, what are they doing over there? I have to go and serve the people. And when people come to me, that is the same energy I bring with any and everything I do.
Yeah, and that was just so eye-opening to me and really helped me think about that. It's funny because my partner John said to me, I don't understand, you always come home and you say, you don't want to be around people, and you'd much rather just be home with your fish and your dog and your couch and all that, but you're out there on stage all the time, you're out there talking and dancing, and now this last event we did some singing, and he said, I don't understand, how could those two things happen? And I said, because and I could cry just talking about it. My mission is bigger than my comfort, right?
Yes.
Going out there and dealing with helping people deal with what they deal with, to be in the 1%, just to be viable in this society, to be competitive, to be able to take care of your family. I have something that will help. So I have to go out and do this, and I can't do it sitting alone in my room.
Exactly. Exactly. The work is so much more important than our own personal agendas, right? Our own personal comfort, because the fulfillment helps drive you. The moment you see the light click on for somebody because you have a small conversation with them, and I never thought about it that way, and they're just a little different because they were in your presence, there is no better feeling in the world. And I am super excited to be able to do this kind of work and understand who I am and what I'm meant to do, and I'm glad to do it as often and as frequent as possible.
Well, Gerald, thank you for sharing everything with us and being with my listeners today. I appreciate it. You know, Gerald works with multi-million dollar companies and sales forces and really helps people grow their businesses. But we went to the personal in this conversation to see where it all comes from, why it's so important, and how he moves companies to be more profitable, to make more revenue, to do all those things, but in such a substantive way. So that's why I wanted us to get down into our relationship. So
Well,
thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been absolutely wonderful. I truly appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to doing more things with you in the future, Mark. Thank you
Cool.
so much.
Where can people find you?
If people want to find me in the space that we like to call cyber, they can easily find me at the New Wealth Order, New Wealth Order, not New World Order.com. If you want to, you can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn, Gerald, Gerald DuBose, Dubose, no I am he, Dubose.
And all of that will be in the show notes, so you can just click and find his book and find his website and be a part of his world. Gerald, thank you again.
Thank you so much, Mark.
To everybody else, I just really appreciate your time and attention. I am blessed with so many wonderful listeners. I appreciate your feedback. Let me know what you want to talk about next. Happy to put it on the show. I love you and have a great rest of the day.